Hey.
Hello.
Go run an errand really quick, and I just got back and ate really quick.
How's it gonna run? Is it all set up and ready? Or?
Yeah, I need to start. Tell Alex I'll get back in like a little bit.
I'm busy.
Someone in my company's asking me how I got my patent. Just need to explain the process internally.
Sounds incredibly complicated.
It's more legalese and making sure that my technical filings are accurate.
Oh, I'm here. Sorry, I'm here. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead,
no rush.
Perfect. There they are.
Hey,
Hey,
guys.
Rebel. Hey, Tiger.
Just explaining how I was a little bit behind, and that's why I was saying, "Hey, I'm on."
How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing good. This fine Friday.
Users.
Got a little bit of allergies this morning, so I do mind my sniffling a little bit, but
Okay.
I'm trying to fight as much as I can. Taking reacting. But, it's getting a little bit the better of me today. Damn life growing again outside. Why can't it all just still be under snow?
Yeah, I
Jake,
agree.
you can move somewhere with snow if you want snow year round.
I do. That's what I want to do. I want to move north. I want to move where it's just snowing all the time and everything's dead, and it'll be wonderful because I can breathe properly.
Bye. See ya. I'm gonna remote from nerdy somewhere warm. Bye.
Right?
If you guys are patient,
In your winter wonderland, I ain't joining you.
At least I'll be able to breathe.
I think if you're patient enough, it'll just stop snowing eventually. Because we'll get to the point that we screwed up enough.
What are you
Right.
talking about? Global warming totally does not exist. No proof whatsoever anywhere.
Yeah, I did. Okay. So I'm just checking. I pre-did all this stuff before I went on this errand really quick, and then I was like, "Oh no, super late."
Oh no, you're good. No worries. We are.
It's all massing. I see.
Yeah, we're on lax time.
Yeah. Just tell me when you guys have everyone on. Then we'll go through the introductions really quick.
At least she's just getting on here, and otherwise three of us already. I'm just getting on again. I just shut down my power down here because all my shit's only on one breaker, so it's like do anything too much and just to turn on my coffee machine. It fucking
15 amps.
nuked my basement. It's like, I'm like, great.
One second, I'll be right back. I need to get my work phone.
No worries. Oh. So I had it all, so I gotta get reset up. It sucks.
In case you don't know me, guys, my name's Knight. I'm Interceptor Flex for Kevin Angels. We came fourth in the most recent Cal Cup, so I'm here to talk sort of PvP loadouts and basic interceptor tactics and stuff like that when Rebel wants me to.
Awesome. Nice
I've
to have you here,
never
mate.
met you personally. I have, however, been shot down by you more than my fair share. We've paired up against you, more than likely unbeknownst to you, in a couple of dogfights on stream, actually.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, we got paired against you guys once or twice. We got paired up against. We also got paired up against RMT once or twice.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah,
Who's
we've
dying in the back?
yeah, we've had a couple
Yeah.
teams that we've been up against. It was fun playing you guys. You guys at least ended things quickly. It was nice.
We don't really play dogfights too much. It's just really to warm up before we play.
It wasn't dog fights we had you guys in. We had you guys in fleet battles. It was
gotcha.
RMT we had in dog fights.
Right, yeah.
But you guys, like I said, you guys were at least nice and you didn't drag it out. You guys just went for it. It was nice.
Yeah, there are some people that just like use the opportunity to increase their KD and just kill everyone in games like that. It's not really fair. It wastes people's time, and
Yeah.
you know, you should just get the game over as quick as possible. Really, in that kind of case.
Yeah. I appreciate you having us here. Appreciate you being here with us rather night. And
That's all right.
Look forward to playing some games, getting some tips. Terry, actually, you said you're the interceptor for your team?
Sorry, say again, Jake. Missed it.
No worries. Did you say you were the interceptor for your team?
Yeah. So I mean, the main thing I do is intercepting and objective damage. You tend to have mixed roles now to be effective in professional games. So I mix both killing people on defense and also doing as much objective damage as possible on attack.
Sorry.
Nice.
I had a call from a lab guy. Okay.
No worries.
Okay, so I'm assuming everyone's on now, right?
Yep. You guys ready to kick things off here?
Yeah, let's get started. Okay, so why don't you guys introduce yourselves to our lovely viewer?
Yeah, we'll kick this off, and I'll bring you guys in and get you guys some time to stay who you are and what our objective is today, and then we'll get into things, and I'll let you take over. Then sound good?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
All right. And check the eye, make sure that ran. All right. Is everybody ready to roll here?
Yeah.
Ready?
Make sure that's up there. That should be coming up there.
We should have friended each other in game. I just realize that now.
Yes, that would have been.
Nobody ever has good ideas at the right time. Let's
That would have
face
been
it.
big brain.
Yeah, I forgot.
Will still hasn't accepted my friend request since the last time I played with him. So
Okay, yeah, why don't
I
you
was
guys introduce yourselves there? Because I'm sure you guys have.
My bad.
Right?
Hold on.
All right.
Invitations? Nope. I don't think I played since last we played together. That's probably the issue.
Why are no filters on the mic again?
So sorry, Rebelpilot. Hi there, guys. My name's Terry. I am a member of the Nord Squad, here to learn, because I am a noob.
Who else we got? We have Jake, who I've been contacting with a lot. And I actually introduce myself. I'm Rebelpilot. My name's Aldrich. Here with Knight, who's tiny and angry on comms, and he'll help me walk through fleet battles with you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Actually, while we're all setting up still, here's what I'm gonna do. Let me add your guys' stuff. Jake, what's your EAID?
I'm sorry?
Your EAID.
Seronic 25.
You spell that?
SERONIC.
25?
And then, yeah, 25.
Okay, just sent that. Who else do I have?
Yeah, you're gonna need mine.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
You spell it?
Yeah, it's Billy.
Billy?
CHILLY. And then Bath, BATH.
Any of that capital?
The C, or the B, the C, and the HR.
B, the Billy.
The Billy, Chili, and the Bath. They're all capitalized.
Nope, that failed. Of course it did.
It usually does because my EA account for some reason never got changed over when I switched my actual name. I can usually invite people though.
Yeah, here. So I sent Saronic an invite. He can accept that, and we can get into a group together.
Yeah, all right, that will work.
Oh,
give me a second. I just gotta fix this.
I Discorded you mine because I wasn't sure if that would be the easiest thing to do or not.
Yeah, well, the easiest way to actually do this, like someone who has everyone else should just invite everyone. That is legitimately the fastest way. And this is the first mini game of Squadrons, getting a group together. This is the hardest mini game in Squadrons.
Yes.
Right now, if not, we'll just do. through Saronic. I got him.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Oh, I got that too. Sweet. I got two of you. Okay, as soon as one of you guys accepts, we can all get in a group. I can pull you into a custom game. Okay.
So I can go.
And Knight, I'll just pull you into the custom because
Yep.
I can only
I
do
can
5,
go
obviously.
That, and then I can go like this,
Oh my god.
and like this,
Shit.
and
There we go. Nice.
like this. I've sent invites to everybody, including
There we
Jake.
go. I think that
I
should be
be there in a second whenever it wants to load. There we go.
Like I said,
Okay.
Hey Jake, it still says the stream's starting soon.
No, I know. It's because I don't know what keeps happening. All my filters got deleted, so I had to add in all of it again, which
Oh,
sucks.
friend invitation received by the Rebelpilot.
that
So
is
I'm just
it's
fixing
the
that
hardest.
up
It's
now.
the hardest part of Squadrons.
All right.
The
There you go. Sorry, you guys ready to go here?
the mini game here.
Yeah.
All right, you guys ready to kick this off?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we here? And there's this. Okay. Going live here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nord Squad Activated, our new little segment here in Nerd Northerners where we play Star Wars Squadrons. It's something we've been playing a lot of lately, and we find ourselves getting more and more into, and it is thanks in part to the Squadrons community who has came out in full front and given us not only a whole lot of tips and advice, but are also willing to play with us, and we actually have 2 of them here. Before I get to that real quick though, we also have Alicia is in the house here. We have
Hi.
Terry from the Nerdy Northerners, and we have Will from the Nerdy Northerners.
Hello.
Hey guys. Hey.
And then from the Squadrons Professionals, we have the Rebelpilot, who's going to be running through and teaching us some basics in the fleet battle, is going to be running through the different builds that we can have in our ships. And then we're going to get into some custom games later on with everyone. So if you'd even like to get in on the action, let us know down in the chat, and we can get some reservations in for that. And then we also have Knight in here as well, who is a interceptor pilot. And I'm going to give both of them a chance here. Rebel first, introduce themselves.
Hey guys, I'm Rebelpilot. My name's Aldrich. I fly for Cyber Squadron. I play objective, and I'm the strike captain for Cyber Squadron. So, fleet battle is pretty much my life. So that's what objectives do. Knight, why don't you take over?
Yeah, fleet battle's my life as well. To be honest, we've been I've been flying for the Cavern Angels Gold Squadron. I'm their leader at the moment, and we've been competing pretty much every tournament that comes up. So I've got some stuff to say about PvP and how to just configure your builds to get the most out of your ships, so that you don't get left high and dry and get destroyed by the guy behind you.
Yeah, something I've even noticed really quickly in the last week and a half, just picking up a couple build tips, is that dramatic difference that getting the right things on your ship and getting the right builds can make a huge difference. Everything from having like those ion ships to like I started playing a Y-Wing more, to AI farm, getting the Goliath and having the multi-lock, like just those key features really elevate and get those kills, allow you to perform the role better. So we're looking forward to learning a lot from you guys. Looking forward to diving in and getting some tips. And for everyone out there, if you have any questions, if you have any comments as well, let us know down in the chat. We'll be trying to get to those. And we also we'll have both Rebelpilot and Knight here to answer your questions as well. So let's get to this. What is first on the plate for today, Rebelpilot?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a custom match.
We still need to get Jake in here. Sorry. And I
Yes.
can't invite him anymore for whatever reason. It's saying that I don't have the same crossplay settings as him. So if Will or Alicia would like to try.
Wait,
I
I
have
got,
been.
Or you.
I got it. Hold on.
Yeah. The struggles of the EA Online gaming.
I love how a week ago, like 2 weeks ago, I had no friends on my EA list.
Damn it! Raccoon eyes again!
I've got a whole list
And
of
now,
people.
so many.
Okay, what I want to do is I need to make sure I do this right. Is I prefer for the first time I'm gonna go by myself through, and everyone watches what I do essentially, and
Yeah.
I'll talk through that, and then after that we'll do customs and go over setting. We'll go over builds and do live fire stuff kind of.
Sounds like a plan to me.
So let's do. but I have this feeling I can't pull the whole group, and if I do, you all are going to be pilots. But let's try it anyway. If I screw that up,
We should be able to spectate though, right? As an option in the hangar.
yeah,
In the custom games, yeah.
we're gonna
So then we can do that then.
find out. Forgot how that all works. Yeah, see you all. Pilots.
First challenge is always playing EA and then losing.
See, the
Yeah.
problem is that tonight, I'm pretty sure if I invite you, what's gonna happen is, let's see,
One second here, folks.
crap, I don't even see you.
There we go. 1 second here.
Oh, it's my favorite part of the game.
There we go.
How do you?
Sorry, we got 15 minutes. We can figure this out.
Yeah,
Thank you for the follow there, Macro Pig, I think it was. Yeah, Marco Pig. Macro Pig would have been. That'd be
Macro
cool.
pigs.
But Marco Pig's just as cool too. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Nerd Northerners.
Macro pigs to go with our house hippos.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I have to leave the group and then pull you all in separately. And
No worries.
I still don't see you. This is my favorite
So
part.
back out of here.
Yeah, back out.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part.
Let's be 1 second here.
It's everybody's. Like Doreen said, it's the lobby boss, final boss.
Just so happens that Squadrons makes it extra hard. It truly is the hardest mini game. Oh crap! I didn't leave the group. I'm an idiot. Gotta do it all over again.
Final boss. Lobby approaches. Dun, 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 dun.
Here we go.
Give me a second on the helmet. Jeez, guy. I'm trying to teach here. People on my stream. One of my rewards is I force throw the helmet behind me.
Ice Cleric says, Knight has always been the troubled child in CA. Hey, it's Shannon Brandina. How are you doing today? Welcome to our Nord Squadron Activates, a new little segment here where we're playing squadrons. And we got ourselves a little bit of a team here during Northerners. We have Nord 1 is Brian. He's not here right now, but we have Nord 2. Terry is. Nord 3 is Will. Nord 3 is me. Nord 4 is Will. And Nord 7 is Alicia. So, this is what we do Fridays. And today's
Thanks,
a little
guys, on
special.
stream.
We've got Rebelpilot, and we also have Knight in here teaching us some of the nitty-gritties, the details that we don't really know, or that you guys out there don't really know about the game, especially for fleet battles, nuances, and even just little small tips and tricks that can really help to elevate your game to that
Knight,
next
do you see me?
level.
I see you, yes.
Dual streams, that's right. I believe that. Are you up yet, the Rebelpilot, on your stream?
Okay, let's see that.
Perfect.
Glad to see that. You should be able. I just sent you guys invites to come into the game. Try and join them. Shitting me?
I think that's it.
It's accept.
Oh my god.
There we go. There's also the Rebelpilot, folks, if you would like to go and catch his perspective of things.
Oh my god, this game.
And if you haven't already, make sure you head up
Literally
there
this
and go
game.
give the guy a follow.
It pulled
He's been nothing but a joke.
I joined and you left?
I tried to accept Knight's invite and it pulled me from the custom.
Oh, Lord.
If you just stick it up with a password, Rebel, I can just join it without an invite.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do it that way. We're gonna do it via password. Hold on. This is the hardest mini game. The hardest mini game.
Lobby boss and pound error are the two most difficult things in this game.
Well, lobby simulator definitely the hardest one.
Yeah.
Because you can time out forever.
Right?
Has password.
That's what I felt like when I was playing with Wasabi Doreen, where he's like, we're like, oh, we're going down. He's like, just don't. And I was like, you're so straightforward. I love it.
I'm gonna put the password in the chat, in our chat, so this way I don't have random.
Of course.
For now. Don't say it out loud, please, because I am notorious for that. It's a Subo.
Now
private.
I'm to take it that the space is to indicate the
Yeah, the
Like,
second word to pass. Second word.
okay.
All right, guys, we're about to win Lobby Simulator. I swear to God, this is it. We're gonna win.
Okay, I don't see it yet. Just waiting for it to appear. Oh, there it is. I got it.
We are gonna win Lobby Simulator. Here we go.
All right. So
This is how you beat squadrons.
how are we doing this? We're going multiplayer.
Yeah, doing custom and just doing it as a spectator.
Join as spectator, sure.
So we want to
Enter
break
the
up our party then.
Yeah, just join a spectator so you can watch me or Knight kind of deal. I'll put Knight on the other side.
Where is this?
I did it.
Ooh,
Yes.
I like this.
Yes, we
Oh,
win
I'm
lobby
being
simulator.
dragged in by somebody.
Oh, good. Okay, I'm not the person that's in charge there. Okay.
Yeah,
Why isn't it working?
I'm like, I'm just not gonna do anything.
Yeah, I didn't touch anything. I was like, I'm not messing this up.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Yeah.
Okay. I got 4, but the 5th can jump in whenever. Okay. So
Where? How do you spectate?
Thank you for the 1 bit there, Katie. Much appreciated. Hope your morning is going fantastic.
So if you click on the match, you can just say join a spectator and enter the password. Okay, so let me.
Oh, that's what they did.
Yeah. So let me start with a high level of fleet battles. I know you guys in Nerdy Northern know a lot of this, but for anyone on the stream, I just want to go through this really quick. For the way we view fleet battles, it's a timed race, is really what it is, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. And that the reason I call it a timed race is because after the face-off, where you go head-to-head against the other team, so face-off, tug-of-war, or coin flip, they're all the 3 terms that a lot of us use. It becomes a timed race. And the reason it's a timed race is because when you are on attack, the opponent's capship, the front-facing capship, so the cruisers or frigates first, then followed by the ISD or the MC, lose shields and hull at 0.5% every second, essentially. So if you sat there and did nothing and you just stayed on attack, it would just keep bleeding shields then hull until they hit 15. Once the cruisers or the ISD hit 15, they actually stop bleeding hull from passive. Now, that's not the only passive damage that happens. Your Corvette and cruiser also do, and everyone in stream can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's 1% every second as well on top of that. Okay. And that will go past the 15. So the cruiser can take down the ISD, it can take down the cruisers and frigates and the MC, essentially. So just via passive, it will continue just to happen. And one critical difference between the cruisers and frigates versus the ISD and MC is that the cruiser and frigate shields never re-heal, right? And I know you guys have seen that, but people on stream, again, may not have seen that. So that's why there's a lot of tactics around firing ions or whatever to get the shields down ASAP. So you can start the residual on the cruisers and the frigates. However, on the cap ships, the shields, when you're on defense, do heal, but don't heal when you're attacking, essentially. So they'll continue to bleed while you're attacking, never re-heal, unless you get it down to 0. Then there's a 30-second delay where there's no shields. While both shields are up. This is why both shields are down. There's a 30-second delay while both shields are up, and then it comes back up at 20%, and then starts bleeding down again. And it keeps cycling for this 30 seconds. If you take one shield in, it's cut in half, essentially. So it actually, it still comes back up to 20, I believe, but it actually drops faster when there's one shield gen, but then it's 60 seconds for it to come back up. And if you lose both shield gens, there's no shields. And so that's the basics behind fleet battles residual. Any questions about that, or any like comments or concerns behind the residual?
No.
Okay.
I can say that I do it. Other than I'm trying
to look on your guys' stream as well. Is there any questions on your guys' stream that I'm sorry?
I don't see any questions right now from our audience. You know, a question I would have actually is so like that passive damage, that passive damage on the cap ships. There's no way to revert that at all, eh? So
there is, right? That's a great question. I was going to get to when we got there. That passive damage continues until you take targeting. When you take targeting, you actually cut that in half. So that's 0.5% every 2 seconds, essentially, once you take targeting.
Okay.
But there's no way to stop that, period. It's just going to keep happening while you are on attack. When you're on defense, it stops, and then it goes the other way, where you start taking passive damage against you, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, and before I hit start and we go into, because I only have 2 minutes, face-off is probably the most important thing besides objective damage in this game, because you get an extra, I mean, you get the first attack phase, right? You can start that damage immediately. And the way that attacking and defending work, and again, I know you guys know this, but for people on the stream, it's based on a morale bar, right? On the face-off, it starts at half, and the whole bar is 50. You want to fill it up to 50, starting at 25 on your side to win the face-off, right? So that's why a lot of strategies are built around AI farming, because 2 packs, each AI is worth 3. Packs are 5, you get all 5. That's 15. You get 2 packs, that's 30. That's a flip, right? Versus trying to kill someone, which is 10. You need to get 3 kills, which is considerably difficult at the highest level, but at the mid-level where you guys are at, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And then the other strategy is the Corvette. The Corvette or the cruiser is worth 20 morale, but that takes a considerably longer amount of time to burn. Even at the highest level, it takes us like 30 to 45 seconds if all we do is focus on the raid or cruiser. Okay, let me start this up and we can go into it. I know you guys are itching to do some live fire stuff.
I know that one of the first things that we kind of came in and one of the mistakes I think we began making at that first level was like singularly focusing on the objective. So it's like that raider came in, it's like, hey, everyone fire, all 5 of us fire at the raider, and we just find that kind of like a very ineffective way. But obviously, like something we've learned is you need those other people to be taking those other roles, going after the players that are targeting your objectives. And
that's funny you say that. Like typically when we started, right, and that you can help correct me if I'm wrong, but when we started, PvP's even been like, and I guess you guys started late, right? So like we would focus on PvP. AI farming really wasn't a thing. But then all of a sudden we began to realize, hey, AI farming is really dirt easy AI morale to pick up. Right? Don't we do that? And then the meta kind of shifted from there. And actually, burning the cruiser now has become a meta counterplay because typically people don't think that they're going to go for it. So if you could sneak in, get a guy just to burn it down while everyone else is doing the work, that's just 20 free morale, right? So a lot of team tactics is based around, okay, what do we think the opponent's going to do versus what can we get away with? And for you guys, think about and this is the thing with this game. This game is about team play. It's not about following the meta. It is, but it isn't, right? It's about building your team around what your team can do well. Some teams are really good around objective damage. Some teams are really good around cruiser burn. Some teams are really good around PvP. And even in the face-off, they build their strategies around that, where they say, okay, we're really good at PvP. Let's pick up 2 kills and an AI pack, and we should flip, right? Versus objective-based teams like, oh, let's get the AI farm, just kind of burn the raider, and just make sure we don't get killed in the open. So for you guys, tailor your style to what works best for you, and really hone it in and optimize it before you worry about anything else. Okay, and then the reason I like to do it this way is because once we get past the face-off, it's 30 minutes, so we can talk about things slowly. I don't have to rush through a fleet battle to, to show you guys, and there's no pressure, so we can go over it. And I chose Subo for a reason to show you. Okay, crap, why did I choose an X-Wing? I need to win the flip. Let me win the flip, Knight.
Alright. I will crash to help you out.
Thank you. I chose chicken and A-Wing. My bad.
There we go.
It's actually good, because then you can flip it back on me, and I could show them defense as well. Or you could show them defense. Okay, so here I'm going to just try and burn the raider. That's a concussion missile, not an ion missile. I forgot. And just really quickly, I guess while we're waiting, there's 2 things I actually wanted to show you while Knight's killing himself. While we're waiting for the flip. The first thing you could do is something called the Wotan Weave, which is an evasive maneuver, which is dirt easy to do, and it's a barrel roll essentially. And I don't think everyone has seen this before. I'll show it to you. A simple roll like this isn't great for evasiveness, right? It's just MAME at this point. Everyone does it just for fun. However, what I don't think people realize is that if you roll and counter spin, a counter push. So if I pull up to the right, I pull down, or I pull up against the spin. I kind of stay in a line, right? But I'm not purely in a line. You guys see that on my view?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's spinning.
But he's spinning to the side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a side spin.
So if let's say I add boost with that now, right? So now if I boost and drift a little bit, I actually become pretty evasive.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Right? And I'm still going in a straight line. So if I'm running and I need to get the hell out of there, this is actually a really simple maneuver you can do just to get out without any high-level technique, right? I mean, a lot of us pinball or, do this, right, where we're bouncing around like a maniac trying to get out. But sometimes when I'm just like, okay, I have a lot of boost, I just get the hell out of there, I'll just do the Wotan Weave, essentially, to get the hell out of there. And I'll just change my velocity and direction and drift to make it harder for me to be hit. So I want to show you guys that, because that's something that I don't think everyone teaches, and it's a really dirt easy maneuver to pull off.
Yeah, it feels simple.
Okay, so now I'm on attack. As you can see, I haven't shot anything, and the shield's already falling, right?
Yeah.
And then when the Corvette eventually closes, where are you, Corvette? There you are. Right? It's going to actually do more damage to Charlie versus Delta.
So that that passive damage that is happening to C&D, that's obviously reflective of like the attacking ships, like the other attacking AI ships.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's thematically what it is. It's coming from your cruisers on the other side attacking this cruisers on this side, right?
Yeah. If you are on defense and you're attacking the enemy AI as they're coming in, is that
It won't slow it.
No.
It will not slow it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, that's a good question. It will not slow it. I mean, the only way to slow it really is to get the ISD targeting down, which is going to be a while. And so, funny enough, some strategies are coming about as like, you take shields down, but some of us are just plowing through the shields because you get underneath these shields, right? And you can start attacking the ship like this, right?
Yeah.
Crash into the ship like I am. It's easier. It's easier with the Y-wing. Funny enough.
Hey, Rando SQ, pew pew, nerdy northers. That's right. We're getting the tips here from Rebelpilot and Knight.
And remember, I said the Corvette helps take residual down faster. Charlie Shield's already out, right? I didn't really shoot at it. Okay, so another important thing besides attacking is positioning, right? And the reason I chose Sasubo versus like Yavin is when you're trying to be evasive, you kind of want to put something in between you and the attacker. So orbiting the debris in any map, even the cruiser itself, what a lot of us do is we'll orbit the cruiser. I'll show you. God, I need boost. I wasted it all talking to you guys. Orbiting the cruiser while boosting around allows me to fire, and it gives me partial cover as well, right? I can turn, fire on it, and then I can boost around. It's called orbiting. I can boost around.
This is something I've seen over the last couple of weeks that I've been trying to implement more, especially in like this interceptor role.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of the game when I see like the weak spots coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, right? It just because it gives you partial cover along with you being able to attack. And this is true, right? Like if I'm evading, like I say, like I'm under heavy fire, like I'm pretend, not Knight has to actually do it, but say I'm under heavy fire, right? I don't have to just orbit that. I can orbit this to kind of give me a chance to rebuild my shields and put me in a position to re-attack, or I could do it to get the hell out of there to heal myself, right?
Now with the standard shield, or even with this shield that you're using, what's the delay time between the last hit you've taken and the recharge?
Oh man, you just asked me a very loaded question. The answer is it's supposed to be like 2 seconds. However, and I know I'm gonna get flack for this, there's a bit of a bug. It's a bug, right? And it's not intentional that we all abuse it. But there's a bug in the shields that if you take fire and you do what's called gasping, which is what I've been doing this entire time, right? You'll actually cancel some of that delay, and you'll start rebuilding shields almost immediately unless you take fire again, which means you just have to keep canceling to keep rebuilding shields. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't do it intentionally to do the cancel. I do it because I'm under fire and I need to get my shields back. But naturally, by trying to rebuild shields while running around, you're just going to cancel it, and there's nothing you can do about that. And I know there are people out there that believe it's cheating, but there's nothing we can do about it because it's just a bug in the game, and what else can I do besides trying to stay alive, right?
Well, yeah, because you're implementing a movement mechanic. You happen to be throwing your power into shields because you're taking damage, and that's what you would logically do anyway.
Exactly.
It's not... Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, and you didn't design the game, so
yeah, and a lot
not
of
on you.
And honestly, like again, and this is one thing else. I'm not sure to be a soapbox right now. A lot of us in the community, when we find this stuff, we say it out loud, right? Because we're like, oh man, this is game breaking. We should tell everyone because we need to understand this, right?
Yeah.
So there's never like a tournament where there is one squad has come up with this game-breaking tactic and they come into this tournament and just annihilate everybody. That's not a thing that exists in this community, or at least not very often. Like it's very rare.
Everything's an open secret. I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, everything's an open secret, so everyone knows what had happened essentially, and everyone could have spent time practicing and emulating it. And like this, I've been boost gasping this entire time, right? And people think that this is impossible. All I'm doing is just hitting 3 buttons and drifting.
I don't think it's impossible. I just know I can't do it yet.
Yeah, it takes practice.
I'll trade you 17, and as well as Karis Daedlin, thank you both for joining us. We are currently watching the Rebelpilot as he's teaching us gasping and teaching us kind of an assault way on the cruisers by drifting around them, using the debris around it to act as that shielding from cover fire and allow those pot fire shots at the ships.
Okay, actually, before I go on defense, let me do one more thing. And I could cover boost gassing towards the end, and me and I could do that. Okay, so another important aspect is, and part of attacking is obviously the ships themselves doing the damage, right? And I think a big misconception that comes out a lot of lower play is that the Oxes are everything. The Oxes are there to help speed up damage, right? And as you can see, I only have a concussion missile in this build. This is my ISD Shield Gen Strike build, and I have boost extension to help me cover the gap of speed, essentially to get to the ISD, right? But funny enough, I just fired a concussion missile. Concussion missile is worth 1,000 damage. You know what else is worth 1,000 damage? An overcharged laser.
Yeah.
And I think people forget about this. You know what the overcharged laser can do all the time is completely fire. During that 10-second cooldown of the comp, I can fire 10,000 damage if I were to stay on it, right?
I think another important thing here too is what laser you're using too, because that's another thing that I realized is that by watching you and these other guys, you're not using that that first standard laser. A lot that there's this this quad fire laser that for
the burst cannon. Good question. Yeah. So each of the different lasers have different properties, right? The burst cannon has the highest, well, it has the second highest damage rate behind plasma burst. But the reason we use burst fire versus standard is burst fire has two big things. Again, it has the second highest damage behind burst cannon, and second, it doesn't have DPS drop off. And what I mean by that is the standard laser, plasma burst, the guided, the rotary. All have DPS drop off over a distance, and it's a percentage drop off, and they're all different percentages. And there's guides out there that can show you that. Oh, the compendium! If someone could post a compendium in both channels, please, the one from the competitive squadrons, that would be helpful.
So if anyone would like to DM that to an Epic Polar Bear in the Nerdy Northerners chat, just because only our mods can post links. But I am on the chat, my second monitor, and I'm more than happy to post that if someone will DM it to me.
Yeah, I'll post it right after. I'll post it on my chat right after after this.
Perfect,
okay.
And then I can take it from there.
Yeah. And so, I mean,
you are also just the Rebelpilot on Twitch, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And so before I let Knight flip the defense, I think the one thing that people need to understand about builds, and we'll go into builds in a little bit after this, is that the Oxes are just there to be complementary fire, just to help speed things up, essentially. But your lasers are probably your most important weapon, and I think people really forget that. And if you want someone like Scalp Blanca, who plays an interceptor main, his Oxes are just jammer and repair, but he puts up a crazy amount of objective damage because he positions himself well to always attack. And I think, that's something that I feel like even at the mid-level people need to work on. Knight, why don't you flip it so I can show them AI farming and all that jazz and defense?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Bear with me, and I'll just destroy some AI myself.
I'm gonna switch to Bomber now, because Bomber's better for defense. And so team composition-wise, while the flip is happening, it really depends on what your team is. Typically on its attack, we'll use one PvPer. We may use a second PvPer who flexes, who also does who's geared towards damage rolls, and we'll have two objective players, and they could be an X-wing and Y-wing, B-wing, and I'm not joking about that. I've been playing with B-wing lately to see how we can make it work. Just anything to speed up damage, essentially, against the opponent. Because, like I said, timed race, all you're doing as an objective player is speeding up that damage to get the stuff down.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend that I did a crap job, didn't finish off Delta, now I'm going to defend, and here comes Knight to attack. So, that motivation bar flipped because Knight was able to build 75 morale and be able to put me on the attack, right? Now my job in defense, same deal. I gotta get 75 morale as fast as possible. Fastest way, obviously, is the AI farm, right? Same thing as on Assault. The face-off. You can go find packs of AI. I use multi-lock and Goliath for my pure AI farm, because you sell multi-lock and target multiple targets and attack. Goliath. The TIE Fighter, the packs, all bunched together, funny enough. So if you fire Goliath, that will most likely kill a bunch in a pack. See 3 destroyed right there. just by firing a Goliath into that pack.
Yeah.
And just for reference, the TIE fighters go into a diamond shape, the X-wings go into a V echelon shape, and in the open, they come from the center top, the left, and the right of that center top, essentially. Here in defensive mode, they actually start by around where the ISD and the MC are, and they come around in a U-like pattern that goes all the way to the MC, and then comes back around in a circle if you don't kill them, essentially.
Okay.
So if I kill all the packs with a partner, you actually can just rush back to the ISD and see if you can get the next pack, essentially. Again, another open secret that a lot of us in the community know, but I know that it's not very obvious. A lot of people, they think that, you know, they just move around and there's no method to the madness. However, there's a caveat to that pattern. Fostar Haven and Nadiri. Fostar Haven, if you remember Fostar Haven's setup, they actually go towards the ships up and down, and then they kind of circle around the pillar where the ships are. That goes back out to open space. And then there is one pack that goes up and one pack that goes down, and then they kind of alternate as they spawn in. So,
Yeah.
Fostar Haven's a nightmare, just by the sounds of what I described.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, and Nadiri actually follows this pattern, but the problem is because there's so much clutter, they actually run into the terrain and they kind of spread out and break out like they do here, right? But it's worse. So it's almost impossible to get a beat of all 4 or 5 in a group. You just have to find the pack and try and isolate all of them and go for it. And funny enough, in Fostar Haven and sometimes in Nadiri, they will run into the structure and kill themselves. Another fun fact. Anyway, back to this. So as you can see, this Raider's been battling that Nebula B frigate, and it actually took some damage. So they actually fight each other, if you notice. The frigate, 20 morale, it does damage against the cruisers, as I said before, so burning this as fast as possible is probably one of the most critical things you can do on defense. It will shorten the opponent's defensive phase and cut damage to your team. Because remember, you are bleeding out hull as time passes. Otherwise, you can PvP to try and get 10 morale. Okay, questions on defense. Sorry.
So, did you say bleeding out of hull?
Yeah, you're bleeding out hull this entire time. Like on defense, like even if Knight wasn't attacking me, I'm just bleeding hull on defense from on my frigates. Right? So I need to stop that bleed as soon as possible.
Yeah, like because your stuff deals passive damage, that stuff on the opposite side will be dealing passive damage to you.
To you, exactly. Now I'm losing because I'm not getting this down fast enough, and I'm just taking residual damage, which is murdering me, essentially.
Now I do have a question, but it's not necessarily defense related.
Don't take the MC Knight.
Is there any benefit to playing certain control schemes over other control schemes, like advanced versus basic, and even like controller versus like joystick or like full-on HOTAS? Like, are there any substantial benefits one way or the other, or is it just like a real mixed bag?
Loaded question again. At your guys' level, there's no huge advantage. Let me start with APM versus basic management. Basic management versus APM, the advantage is nominal. I think Fenkar did the math. It was like 5% or so. It wasn't really a lot that you're really getting out of APM. Because this game is built around overcharging. If you're not overcharging something, you're wasting your time, essentially. Like, if something isn't being overcharged, it's just a complete waste of time. And because of how the button presses work, using APM to kind of keep balance. So, like, okay, I'm at four pips for lasers, right? But notice how my shield isn't charging. If I go like this, my shield will start charging, right? But my lasers won't charge. So having those 4 pips helps my shield charge faster, but now my lasers won't charge, etc. and etc. Right? So maximizing your pips as much as possible is more advantageous in this game than balancing things out. But it's not that much more advantageous. Now, controller schemes.
I got a question.
Rebel, can I quickly chime in about the advanced power management?
Yeah, please, go ahead, Mike.
So, you know, you mentioned earlier, Rebel, about how your shields almost instantly recharge when you boost gasp. Essentially, that is only with advanced power management. So, what you have to do is you have to have 0 pips in your shields, and then switch to your shields full.
Yeah,
to
so it's
get
something
the
that we
instant recharge.
can't take advantage of playing on base.
That's actually a good point. I completely that goes over my head half the time. You're right. That's a great point.
Yeah. So that's one major advantage that advanced power management has, is that when you're getting shot by someone, if you spectate me for a sec, I'll show you.
Yeah, yep. I won't select
So
one,
my power at the moment is in weapons and weapons and engines.
Yeah.
So say I get shot, I've got currently 0 pips in my shields, so my shields will start to degrade over time if they're overcharged. When I put power in my shields, they will bypass the cooldown and instantly recharge only if there's 0 pips in shields. So if I get shot and then put all my power in shields straight away, then it will instantly recharge. That does not happen with basic power management, because with basic power management, you always have 2 pips minimum in every system. So the advantage is that you get shot with basic power management, you have to wait 1 or 2 seconds, I don't know exactly how much it is, and then your shields start to recharge. Except with advanced power management, when you get shot, you can just put your power in shields and it will instantly recharge, as long as you don't get shot again. So that is one really big advantage.
And another, oh wait, sorry. That's right. And I was gonna say, and then to go to your other point about controller schemes, ignoring some of the bad exploits, and again, I don't want to get into a whole debate about what's an exploit, what's not an exploit.
Yeah.
There really is no difference between the controllers. It's more a comfort level thing. And the reason I say that is, some people will hang me for this, but look at someone like Scalpwalker, right? Scalpwalker plays controller, and he's probably one of the best interceptor pilots in the game, right? I play throttle and stick.
Okay.
Polytechnic, who is also known as pilot error in the game, plays full keyboard. Literally all he plays is keyboard. No mouse, just keyboard.
Okay.
There are a bunch of mouse and keyboard players, right? And this is all at the high level. These are all high level pilots I've called from teams around the top 64 teams, top 32, top 64 teams, essentially.
I also play Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
so to be honest, there really is no huge variance in terms of the style, the style of play. We all play very similar. We just do it on different inputs, essentially. Yeah. I'm not going to get into multi-drifting. I mean, there is one thing that stick and keyboard, or anything with keyboard, can be abused, but I'm not going to get into that because that's going to be a whole debate.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's fair. We won't touch it.
Okay.
But thanks for answering the question. Like, I was honestly curious if playing with a stick and throttle, as opposed to being more flavorful in general, actually has any advantages.
No, it really is.
It's all down to your personal style.
Yep.
To be honest,
and
some people find it easier with mouse and keyboard, and others will find it more natural to play with the stick.
Yep, and this is 6 months now. We're 6 months in the game, right? This still comes up all the time. Like, people will say, "Oh, throttle, stick and keyboard is the superior way to play, or mouse and keyboard is superior play." We're 6 months in, and we've seen that there's been no difference. So it's just really down to stuff.
Yeah. So real quick, I just want to get a question here from chat. There was Zugzug35 who had asked a question earlier. It was answered by the Rando SQ, but I figured we should talk about it.
Sure.
When you dummy fire a Goliath, how far does it travel before it explodes?
2 kilometers. 2 kilometers. That's true of the concussion missile, the ion missile, actually all the missiles, right? Yeah, all the missiles that can be dumbfired, it's 2 kilometers.
The ion missile is 1,500.
Or 1,500? Okay.
Yeah.
And then the rockets are 1,000. That's a good question.
And that's good for those ediphasings, and that's also good, obviously, to just come in as a bomber and being able to fire that off. Yep. Zugzug also says, thank you to everyone here for hosting this kind of a session. There's only so much you can glean from the subreddit compendium and YouTube videos.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do it. We're at 10 minutes. Let me do a quick ISD run. The shields have fallen. So remember I said before, shields fall, and then there's like a 30-second delay. Oh, crap. During the delay, there's no passive damage. Huh. Did not know that. I just learned something. I have literally just learned something. Wait, why is the Corvette... Is that a bug? The Corvette's not doing damage against the hull.
Let me destroy the Corvette before it destroys the Star Destroyer.
No, it's not doing damage. Do you see that? It's not doing damage against the hull.
The shields came up.
No, the shields were down. It's been down 3 times since we've been talking.
Yeah, the shields were down.
Oh my god. Empire, so OP. Jesus Christ. I mean, okay, let me continue. Okay.
Jake doesn't like the Empire. I don't know if you know this or not. Jake hates the Empire, detests playing Empire side.
Yep.
Like, look at this. The hull is damaged already, and there's no damage on... Oh, the Star Destroyer did take hull. Wait, what happened? Oh, I was targeting the system. I was targeting the system. Ignore me, everyone. Ignore me. I was targeting the system.
I heard that they recently buffed the Y-Wing, and I heard up until then it was pretty much just not worth it to play New Republic.
Yes, but no.
Yeah.
It was really broken.
Ice Cleric said, or never mind. He says you figured it out.
Yeah, yep. I realized I did wrong. Thank you, Ice Cleric. I was like, broken? No, it's not. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Now we wasted all this time. Let me go this really quick. Okay, so you're attacking the ISD with pretends on 100 hull. I'm not going to shoot at it because effing I've let it drop to 20 during this entire time.
Yeah.
So the first critical target is most likely going to be your shield gens. On the MC, it's dirt easy to do. I'll let Knight flip it after I make a fake run here and then show you the MC. I would say there's two major ways for the NR to come in on the shield gens. Everyone knows the Vandersloop, and I'll do a real quick run here for the Vandersloop for those who have never seen it before. If you come in low, there's a notch right here, which everyone targets. Femcar actually suggests from here because it helps with proton torpedoes. I don't run proton torpedoes because they're unreliable and they sometimes miss, go past the shield gens or whatever, or just fail hit reg. My team likes consistent damage. We use rockets and conks or just conks. You come up through here, and now you have a clear run underneath the shields on either gen, depending on how you do it. And I'll do a fake fire right here. And then you can just come back around, and you can basically just circle this the entire time, staying over the top. Come back around, and now I have shield gens. I'll be under the shield this entire time, coming around, fire, and keep going until they die in a circular pattern. Again, if I'm taking fire, maybe I will go underneath the engines here to protect myself because I use the ISD as cover. Come on. Sorry, cushion.
Oh, just saying hey to an innocent dictator. He's
hey.
I have a question. So when we've learned some of our boost stuff from some other people in the community,
yes,
we were instructed that the best way to drift was at 0 throttle. But it doesn't appear that that's something that you're doing, or you're doing it. So
I'm being
fast
lazy. I'm being super fucking lazy right now. I will
that
drop
is
the 50.
best. That is the best way to do it. Like
Okay.
is to 0
Yeah.
throttle down. Okay.
Yeah. Depending on whether you need a run and you're running out of boost, same to 0 throttle. And the reason is because of the instant acceleration bug, right? Instant acceleration happens because when your throttle line is below the blue speed line, you'll instantly accelerate for the most part. And the reason everyone does that at 0 is because for some reason at 0, it thinks you're always above that line, and you just go straight up.
Huh.
And as long as you have boost, you can just abuse the hell out of this. I was just being lazy. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I wasn't sure if once again that's one of those things that's like a divide in the community where some people do it, some people don't.
No, it's the best way to play. Just like being lazy. Okay, sorry. So I want to show one more shield gen run, and then I'll let Knight flip so he can show you the MC. The other way to come up on it is a similar path, but I come up from high. I actually do this when I see there's a lot of guys underneath. We call those the sharks in the ocean. I come up high, come back to where that same point is, and then I'll boost in, come underneath the shields as so, and then begin firing for the same path, and then begin the circling pattern essentially.
Okay.
Right, and then the rest you just after you take out shield gens, power or targeting based upon where you are in morale, and then you hit the blue weak points to knock out the Star Destroyer. Essentially, each weak point does 8% damage to the hull. They are not buffed by targeting beacon. Targeting beacon will do 30% more damage to any shot on the hull from players, not the Corvette.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys watch Knight? Knight can run you through the MC really quick. Knight, take it away.
Alrighty. At the moment, I'm running a bomber, and I'm running Goliath and Multilock as my loadout. That's the loadout that most people use for AI farming. So if you're in a bomber, this loadout is actually pretty powerful for attacking shield gens. For those that don't know, the shield gens on the MC-75 are here on the left and the same position on the right. And they're actually a lot easier to hit than the ISD because you don't have to fly so far along the ship to actually hit them. So what you can do with the Goliath and multi-lock loadout is you see I'm slowly locking onto turrets here on the MC-75. It brings up that sort of green marker where I've got 4 now. What you can do is you can get really close to the shield gen and shoot them into the shield gen like this, and then you done fire your Goliath and you're shooting as well, and that'll take down the shield gen really quick.
Wow.
So that's one way where you can get a huge amount of damage in a very short time. So you don't have to sit on the shield gen to get that. You can just remain evasive and bounce around, and get the damage that way. There's a couple of other ships which I want to show you as well, because not everyone's going to be flying a TIE bomber. So bear with me while I go back to the Star Destroyer here.
Nice.
Sorry to give you a lot of time, Knight. we talked about boost casting way too long.
That's alright. Alright, I'll show you one more then, I won't show you too much. What I'm going to show you is the Defender. Now, the Defender is a very unique ship to fly in that it requires pretty advanced power management to get the most out of it. We'll go through that another time, but what I'm carrying in my Defender at the moment is Concussion and Cluster. And this is what most people sort of fly in their maximum damage loadouts. So the Cluster works in a similar way to the multi-lock, except it locks onto one target. So what you can do is you get 1,000 in and it starts to lock on, and then you can do fly in, dumbfire your concussion, shoot your multi-lock, and that's the shield gen destroyed. Now that was insta-destroyed because it was already pretty low. Usually what you can do is get it down to about 50 or 40 health by doing a really quick run like that. So I'll show you on this one, which is still 100. So you remain within 1,000 and you start to lock on. You get really close and then you dumbfire your concussion. And it only got down to 68 health there. Sometimes depending on where the missiles fly to, it can be good or bad. Oh, I just lost. Or I just won.
You won. You took out the MC.
So yeah, because the Raider was still up, that happened. But yeah, there's different techniques for different ships. You can fly the TIE Fighter, for example, and have piercing torpedoes. So when the MC-75 shields are still up, you can shoot those piercing torpedoes through the shields, and they'll do, I believe, is it 33% damage per hit that you get with that. The disadvantage is that people can shoot down your piercing torpedoes or chaff them. So if you're running chaff as a countermeasure, they do stop torpedoes in a radius of about 200 meters around the chaff.
Or you could use Warhead Seekers, which is 750 meters from where you are. I actually prefer that for newer players because it's a lot less mental work to do Warhead Seekers. There's a reason we use chaff, but that's more for PvP reasons.
Yeah. Well, much appreciated for you guys showing those off to us and giving us kind of those insights on how to attack the ships too, like attacking the FC there, coming in that side real quick that night.
Yeah, I just think two more things to cover. Targeting, as I said before, reduces residual and also reduces the fire rate of the ship, so it's easier to attack the ship. And the last thing is power, which creates the 5 weak points, right? And each weak point's worth 8%. Only 5 will generate at any time on the ship. There's a bug which is 6 might appear, but we haven't proven that actually is the truth, and it just might be a visual bug. It may be true.
So sorry, I just want to confirm. 8 maximum weak points.
5
will 5 at any time. But
no, 5 in total. No, 5 in total.
5 in total.
And
okay,
they do
perfect.
8% hull damage. 5 in total.
8%
hull damage.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. I think we want to do builds next and do a live fire. Right?
And sorry, one more thing.
Yeah.
And you want to be attacking the systems in the order of shields, power, targeting generally?
It depends where you are in the match. It really depends where you are in the match. From a beginner standpoint, I actually would recommend shields, targeting, power, because you most likely will flip, and targeting will help reduce residual against you. We at the high level will go power first because we're trying to one phase the opponent's ship. Right, we're taking a gamble to say, okay, we don't want the flip. We flip, we lose. So we're gonna take power and start to rush this thing down. However, you'll see someone will say, oh, we're gonna not get this flip. We're not gonna be able to do one phase. Take targeting so we have a chance to reflip on our defense, right? And that's where that strategy point where you see on tournament play, like someone will say, target power, we're gonna go for the one phase now, versus get targeting, we're gonna see a flip. Let's try and win this on our next attack phase, right? And that's where that decision making comes from. But for your guys' level, just go for targeting. It will give you a chance to reflip much easier because you'll have a lot more time to do the flip.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of time in competitive play, you need to make your decisions based on your morale bar. And as Rebel was saying, if you destroy the second cruiser and go into the MC-75 with less than a quarter morale, you want to ideally get as much damage done to shield gens as you can. And if you have time at the end, then you destroy targeting because you've got to decide, look, I'm not going to destroy the MC75 this phase, but I want to hinder my opponent's attack next phase.
Yep.
And that can make the difference between losing a game and winning a game.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That's we've done so many breakdowns on that, and Knight is absolutely right on that.
What do you guys say we go to a quick break, and then we'll come back and do the building and get some custom games?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Awesome. Right. So we'll take a couple minutes break here. Go get some stretches in there, folks. Thanks for tuning in so far, and we'll be back in just a few minutes here with some more squadrons. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
I will stay with people on my stream and talk. I don't have those cool overlays like you guys.
Oh, my head. So much information.
The funny part is, and this is very high level, right? We didn't really go into the breakdown of everything, but I think there's a lot there. But I think it becomes it becomes very natural to you as you play this game more. You realize, oh, I see what's going on, right?
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, I'm not sure how far into this game competitively I will get. I enjoy the game a lot. I'm just not sure how far competitively I'm gonna get because time.
Yeah.
But like I play Rocket League and I'm starting to get higher up in there, and I get exactly what you're saying. Like, it's just a matter of seeing someone do something and going, oh, this is how I think they're doing it, and then trying it out and progressing until eventually you can do it yourself. Like, I watch people fly across the map, and that it's very different, but like, I see it, and I'm like, I can get there. I just need to figure out what the steps are.
Yeah. So, and the
thing is,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
So the thing is, I started in the exact same place you did back when the game launched, and you pick up as long as you have a team, that generally unlocks the sort of path to greatness with squadrons, and you tend to pick up little nuggets of information by playing teams that are better than you. As much as you can, and with each match you learn something new. Even my guys on Cavern Angels, we play people like Splinter and the Randalorians, and we pick up new tactics all the time and new ways of doing things. So that's a beautiful thing.
I understand exactly what you're saying, because when I come across, like, now that I'm watching more and more of the streams and I'm learning who the pro players and pro teams are, I see certain names come up. So like when I see Cavern Angels pop up with someone on the other team, I'm sitting there like, you know what? If I can get 3-4 kills this game, I'm happy as the PvPer, because you guys are playing those pro tournaments placing 4th. So it's like, if I can kill 4 of you, I'm having a real good game. And I've got to take that with me.
I think I watched one of the games where you played against, I think it was on Galatan, and we were all in B-Wings. Is that? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Now, we were practicing just flying around in B-Wings in general, so that's not a tactic we would fly into a tournament, because that's guaranteed loss. But we all wanted to get used to it and make sure that we could fly it. So don't take everything you see with absolute certainty, because some teams might just be using the opportunity to practice things that they've never done before.
And that's the big thing, is that I always expect is like I say, I always go back to Rocket League as the example, because that's the competitive game that I'm like actually getting into. It's like, when you go into casual, there is no matchmaking system, but when you go into ranked, there is. So it's like, if you go into casual, there's the chance you're going to play against guys that are, way higher than you, and you're just going to get stomped, and you've got to take away the small things, because they are just there to practice. Sometimes they'll get down 2 or 3 goals, and you'll think these guys aren't good, and then they'll just turn it on because they were just practicing.
Yeah, and to add to that, I mean, I don't want people to think that what we do is insane.
Oh, it's not. It is achievable. I see what you guys are doing.
30 minutes. It's 30 minutes of practice a day, maybe.
I would say it's that, combined also with picking up those little nuggets of information over time from better teams. Because you're not going to think of everything straight away. It's just impossible. There's so many different ways of doing everything. What you'll do is you'll see things, and it's like, I could put that into my strategy and that would work. And then you just pick up another one the next day, and your play gets better and better.
Yeah, if it winds up becoming a big thing and I wind up going down the rabbit hole, I'm more than happy with it. Like the game
yeah,
is a lot of fun for a game that I never really intended to pick up and play. It was just, hey, I've got friends who have this, and they keep asking people to play, and no one will play with them, so I'll get it because it's free with Game Pass.
Mhm. What a lot of people don't realize about this game is that the skill ceiling is quite high, and a lot of people come in with certain expectations, get absolutely annihilated, and then never play again. But if you just need to work at it. It's one of those old games, like on the Nintendo 64 or the old consoles, where you just need to keep chipping away at it, and you'll eventually get it. And a lot of people don't realize that, which is a shame because that's one of the reasons why this game has quite a small player base. So you need the kind of person with an attitude to come in and say, look, yeah, I'm losing right now, but I can use it as an opportunity to get better and better.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's really what it is, right? I mean, a lot of us didn't start off awesome at the beginning, and they just put in the time, right? And it's to whatever level you want to put the time into. I mean, even if all you did was just play in fleet battles, but just practice stuff in solo queue or with your friends, then you'll just get better, right? I mean, a lot of the tactics we developed was done in solo queue. It wasn't like we were all teams on day one, right? A lot of us just played by ourselves, began to realize these are how you win games, and then we went through that and practiced that a lot. And it's funny because like Fenkar will say, go into practice mode and put in 30 minutes a day. And he's right. If you did that, you would be at Fenkar level or close to. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's not the amount of work you want to put into this game, essentially.
I spoke to Fenkar the other day, and he was playing with us last night actually, and he was saying how he has more hours in practice mode than he does in actual games. He's got like 1,000 hours in practice mode alone, which is ridiculous. I mean, no one's going to have enough time to do that. But he's right in saying if you do spend some time every day just perfecting your technique, then you'll get really good soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's true of anything, right? I've always made the sports analogy, but even like a piano or whatever, it's always up to what you want to, how good you want to be, right? If you put in the time, you will be great. But if you don't, then don't expect to be great just because you think you're deserving. Realistic expectations are part of this game.
That's on the same breaker, dear. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Both
No.
the rooms are on the same breaker. The
Don't-
only thing that's on the breaker
Don't
down
do
here-
it.
Oh man, so many people on stream want to fly now with us. Luma's killing me. Luma wants to fly. He also needs one of the helmet, but I can't. I tried to get to work, Luma. I can't. Sorry.
2.
I owe you. I'll get you in next stream.
Huh?
I said, oh, well, you're bugger.
Or actually, wait, I know what it is. Hold on, I can fix that while we're waiting for them to come back.
Just look at this.
Because I couldn't tell if the light was on.
All right, you guys ready to head back live here? Then we'll answer a couple of those questions from the chat there from Zugzug.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
Thanks again for this, man.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed doing this. To be honest, I like teaching, and I enjoy doing this because I feel like if I go through something like this, people learn something and actually enjoy the game more. And I just want people to enjoy this game because, like Knight said, we have such a short shelf life compared to other games. I don't. So anything I can do to help keep this
EA's
going.
already like abandoned the game, haven't they? For the most part, like we're never gonna see any massive updates. Like we're never gonna see like an added generation or anything, like a new era or anything, are we?
No, not really. We're just going to see mainly balancing updates to make the ships work a bit better and
Yeah.
to bring the factions more into balance.
Like no new maps, no anything, and that's such a shame.
No, I agree. I wish they did spend more time and money on this game because it with that kind of support, it does have the potential to be really good. Really good.
I think they will. This was done as a proof of concept, as far as we've heard from the devs and Motive themselves. It's up to EA how far they want to take it, but I think that.
Hey, I'm happy the concept is approved. That's the first step.
Yeah, I think it will get there. I think there will be a sequel to this game in some capacity. It may not be a straight pure flight sim. I know BF2 Battlefront is such a popular game, but I hope some kind of hybrid with that, where it's better than Battlefront's flight model, but it's closer to this with the bugs worked out. Would be awesome. I prefer pure flight sims, but that's just me. I know people love to shoot on ground and shoot in space. So,
You guys ready to roll here?
yep, hit it.
All right. And back live here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody, welcome back to North Squadron Activate, a little segment here in during North North, where we play Star Wars Squadrons, and we happen to be joined today by 2 professionals from the Squadrons community. We have the Rebelpilot, and we also have Knight from Team CA. Thank you, gents, for both joining us and so far teaching us a lot. We're looking to get into some custom games here. But before we do that, Zugzug35 in the chat has a couple questions that we're going to take some time answering. So, Rebelpilot, do you want to tackle some of those?
Yeah. And actually I have some on mine as well. But let me hit Zugzug's first question. In what scenario do you feel it's worth to use a Y-wing or an X-wing for attack runs on the ISD? I'm gonna actually cover that for the cruisers as well, and I know can add in. And this is true for both sides. At the mid level, I would say just ship swap to X-wing. It's easier to fly. It does same amount of damage as a Y-wing will do. Actually, the 3 does more because of how burst lasers work. You're more evasive. You'll stay alive a lot longer, and you'll just be more effective as. And that's why I call it strike, striking the cruisers or the ISD, because of its speed over the Y-wing. However, you will see if you watch some of our streams or some of our tournament play, ship swapping takes time. And remember I said this is a timed race. So a lot of us have worked towards using the Y-wing as an effective attacker on cruisers, at least, because of the fact that we don't want to waste time ship swapping. It's very high level, and I don't think it's worth practicing right now until you get better as a pilot. Once you get to that level where like, okay, I'm very comfortable flying anything, now I can learn how do I tackle the Y-wing. That's when you make that transition, essentially. On the Empire, the bomber is kind of overpowered, so you could keep going with the bomber if you know how to fly it effectively, but I still find the TIE Fighter and the TIE Defender to be easier for newer players, because they're faster ships and they're a bit more evasive. So I still recommend the ship swap to something you're more comfortable for attacking. And the fighter could bring proton torpedoes, it could bring concussion missiles, it can bring rockets, it can bring so much more than the bomber can in terms of attacking a ship. We can go into the builds later, because I know we want to cover that, but there's a reason why I usually recommend a fighter for striking for newer players, because it's so much more flexible as a ship.
Yeah.
Was there another one from Zug that I missed? If not,
Yeah.
I might get...
Any thoughts on timing to start burning the Raider Corvette? Or do you go straight there on defense phase when it is safe to do so?
Literally, it's the first thing you should do. That's my opinion. You should have someone on it immediately. If you're not burning that Raider Corvette immediately, you are taking passive damage, which will murder your team. And the worst part is, especially at a disorganized non-team, like kind of in the pubs kind of thing, if you forget to do it and your team is coordinated, you will forget to do it, period, and it will sit there and just destroy you. Is there anything else I missed before I go to the one on mine? Because there's a really good one on my stream.
Absolutely, knock it out.
Okay, the question's from Spellcaster. What is the importance of PvP in fleet battles now? Where do people in the Interceptor role begin with their personal strats in fleet battles? That's a great question. I really want to answer that on stream. It will differ from the mid-level to the high level. At the mid-level, PvP is still pretty important. Killing players is probably the fastest way you can gain morale in the mid-level to low level, because people are easier to kill, essentially, right? AI farm is still the easiest, but with a good PvP team, you can actually bully the team away, and prevent them from doing damage and building your morale pretty quickly. As you get to the high level, you'll begin to notice that it takes longer to kill a player. And this is where I always have this debate with PvP players. And this is why this is a good conversation to have with you, is that I think PvP is still important. You have to be able to push off the opponent, make the objective players work for it, and buy your team time to get their AI farm and cruiser going, right? Get the cruiser down, AI farm as quickly as possible, maybe get a good pick as a PvP pair. And that's something that we've worked on, and all the high-level teams work on, is a PvP pair. One does what's called an iron dunk, where you iron an opponent, and the second player comes in, finishes it off. So this way you get a good morale kill right out of that.
Yeah, PvP is it's still important, but it's more important to apply it situationally. So you're looking for someone that is already low on health that you can finish quickly, or you are looking to pressure AI farmers only during your attack phase so that you can extend the time that the rest of your team has to do damage to their objectives. So you're not looking at chasing someone for absolutely ages or the entire phase to try and kill them. What you're looking to do is apply pressure in the right spots. And a lot of that will mean that whilst you're pushing people out and stopping them AI farming, the rest of your team has so much time then to destroy their objectives. So essentially you're out there as a distraction, and if you can get kills, if you can finish them, then great. But I would say don't spend more than 10 seconds on a target, because then you're wasting time that you could be doing by doing damage.
Yeah. You're really there to slow down the objective players, and if you can get that pick, that's just great. But yeah, I agree. Like, you don't want to waste 60 seconds trying to kill one guy. You're really just, like he said, like Knight said, you're just wasting time, and that you could be doing more important. You could be killing AI. You could be spending 60 seconds killing AI, helping your farmers essentially. I actually want to come back to Zug if we'll close on that topic for right now.
Yep.
So Zug asked, is it mostly because of the capture damage? To go back to the Corvette Raider. And I know some people are talking about this, but I wanted to cover that as well. It's not purely about the capture damage. Morale is important, but again, back to that whole time thing, it takes about 45, 60 seconds quickest to burn a Raider Corvette, even if your whole team is focusing it. 30 seconds is probably the quickest I've seen it happen. And that takes a lot of coordination. And that's only 20 morale, right? So that's not the major focus, but that 20 morale is important. But stopping the residual is probably the most important reason why you want to take a Raider down, and you don't want to delay it too long.
One other question here that I think we should jump into some build tips and some custom games here from Zug was also, is it worth defending your own Raider Corvette when attacking? If so, is that just an intercept or A-wing role?
Oh, that's a good question, and I think that depends on your team. It depends on your team and how you attack. Is it important? I would say yes, but you don't want to spend too much resources on it, because if your objective players are helping protect it, then they're wasting time not speeding up the timer, essentially, right? Speeding up the timer to win. The interceptors, I think, and this is a personal opinion, and you may have a different opinion. I think the interceptors are better off in order of attack, getting the farmers, attacking the support, and then getting Raider burn, and then finally just doing PvP cover for the objective damage, simply because of the fact that stopping the farmers from farming keeps your attack longer. The support is usually there to keep everyone alive longer. Getting the support out gives your team more opportunity to attack and to push off people attacking you. And then keeping the Corvette alive obviously is helpful, but it's not the most important thing. And then peeling is probably the last thing. Simply because the objective players, there's a lot of high trust at our level that the objective players will stay alive long enough. And if they really, really need to peel, they'll ask for it. Otherwise, they'll help themselves until that moment, kind of deal. Knight, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
No, what you're saying is exactly spot on, really. As an interceptor now, at high level, it is no longer a good thing just purely to intercept. You need to make the most of your time. As I was saying earlier, you're spending less than 10 seconds on a target if you can, and then all the rest of your free time should be done assisting your team and doing damage, because doing damage really at high level is what wins you games. Not killing people over and over again.
So sorry to interrupt, but as an interceptor, because that's my role for our team, my targeting system should be, instead of just being like on the enemy squadron, should be for all enemies, correct? Like, I do want to be helping the ARE farm when possible.
Yeah, I make heavy use of target ahead, which essentially puts a target square over what you're pointing at. So I acquire a lot of my targets visually, with AI and things like that, because a lot of the maps are quite open and you can see quite far in the distance. Because I'm on controller, it's a bit clunky to change my target priority, so I've learned to use that target ahead more personally.
And your target ahead is set to, I would assume, clicking in your left stick, because I also use an Xbox controller.
It's not actually. Mine is set to the left bumper, because I have clicking in my left stick is my left auxiliary dumbfire.
Okay.
I have quite a unique setup on my controller for various reasons. So if you have time later, I can take you through it.
Yeah, we can talk about that later for sure.
I'm clear on my questions. I had someone ask me.
All right, well, let's dive into some custom games then. Rebel, if you want to get set up, get us invited. I know Ice Cleric in the chat here is asking to join in. I said I didn't see why not.
He's on my team.
There you go. Perfect.
Hey, actually, Knight, why don't you host, Knight? Because I don't know if I have Ice. We could just get other people.
Well, I mean, we can all join the custom with a password, can't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we did last time.
Yeah. It's just because you can pull people in with invite as well.
Oh, okay, I do. Okay.
And nice if you want to, if you're not already in our Discord, go ahead and join the Discord. Hop into. You already did. You're nice. Good.
Yeah, I'm in.
If you want to fly with us, get into the Northern's Discord, please, and then we'll put the password in there. So whoever comes in, first come, first serve. Actually, I might just do. Watch. I might be a spectator, just to. I can basically watch what everyone's doing.
Not a problem, Zug. Zug, thank you for being here. Much appreciated. And yeah, if anyone else would like to join in, we're going to do some custom games here. Going to get some tips. We're going to have Rebelpilot doing some scouting, taking a look at us. So,
So
Can
yeah,
we
the
talk
password
builds
is in the chat.
quickly before we get in there?
Yeah, we can actually. Yeah, we can talk builds. A time bomb's flying. Spectator, hold on, let me just join this really quick. Go ahead. Why don't you start with your first question about builds?
What exactly should we be using for our various roles? Like, what are the effective builds to be using?
Oh man, that's okay. I guess I'll answer with support and objective because that's what I mainly fly. Knight, I know your objective PvP. You can answer the PvP and help me with objective. Let's start with objective. It's my favorite. In terms of builds,
Oh, there it is.
in terms of builds, you want to be doing as much damage as possible in whatever capacity that is in a reliable. I say in a reliable way, quote unquote, and that could very much be up to how your team views reliable. For strike, burst cannons is probably the most important thing you could take, without a doubt. You're just doing a crazy amount of damage. You could take Plas Burst. Plas Burst though has the problem of you have to be within 200 meters to do the max damage, whereas burst cannons, one click out, just fire, and you're doing a crazy amount of damage. For auxiliaries, this is where I think a lot of debate, and this is where the team strategy comes in, right? I run Conch and Rockets. Conch and Rockets are very consistent damage, and on top of that, with Rockets, I could spam them to take out the turrets, essentially, on ships. And they double as suppressive fire against opponents, essentially. So if I need to flip into self-protect mode, I can just dumb out Rockets, and I'm good to go. A lot of other people run proton torpedoes. I'm not saying that they're bad; they're good. I don't run them because they need a lock, so you need to lock. B, they're swattable, they're killable. And as we said earlier, it's relatively easy to kill them. You just have to be aware, right? And another reason I don't run them is because, as I said earlier, they have bugs. They sometimes shoot past the target. They sometimes fail hit reg. They sometimes don't do full damage. There's just so much around proton torpedoes that I'm like, I can just do consistent damage with conchs and rockets, and that's way more important because maybe only I get one run on, say, the shield gens, right? And if I get the proton torpedo off and it doesn't do what I want to do, guess what? Now I need to make a second run and I might be dead. Right, whereas I did consistently more damage with rockets and conch missiles. In terms of other oxes, most of them are defensive, so I don't really run them. I rely more on my evasiveness to go for objective. Now, this is for that was Typhire X-Wings. For Y-Wings, I've been running bombs lately, but bombs requires teamwork with the support to keep resupplying you. Going back to get more bombs at the frigates is a waste of time. If you don't have that team work thing down, then bombs isn't a great play. However, as Knight covered before, multi-lock is great because it does 750 damage per missile, can kill a turret, and each turret, I didn't cover this, but each turret is worth 1% hold damage. If you're looking for extra hold damage, kill a turret. It's 1% hold damage on both the ISD and on the cruiser. Goliath missiles are good because it does area damage. And then I don't run rotaries and Y-Wings because of the fact that there's other issues with Y-Wings. But on Bomber, the rotary cannon is broken as hell. I mean, it just does so much damage. You can keep slamming shunt power into it. It's just ridiculous. And the TIE Defender is very much like the X-Wing and TIE Fighter. Just faster, more evasive, but with a little bit less payload now because of that. Anything else I missed for Objective Knight? I think that's it at a high level.
Not really. Yeah, as we were saying, it's very important to run a ship that you can do both PvP and objective damage in. as an interceptor flex. Obviously, if you're just purely AI farming and objective based, you know the TIE bomber is a very good thing to choose, and the Y wing is also good for cruiser destruction as well. The idea of that is to avoid wasting time swapping ships out. So in high level play, a lot of people that will AI farm very quickly, they'll destroy the radar, and all that morale will build up very quickly. So you don't want to waste time swapping those ships out. Speaking as a PvP guy, I on Empire run the Defender because the Defender is a sort of sweet spot between the Interceptor and the Bomber, in that you can carry some of the more heavy munitions that the bomber has. You know, not the ridiculous stuff like bombs, but you can carry things like ion missiles, and you can carry concussion missiles. All of that stuff helps you to do more objective damage. Whereas using the standard lasers on the Defender helps you a lot with PvP, but it's not so good for objective. So what I do is, going into a game, I'll always run a Defender with standard lasers, ion missile, and concussion, because it gives me a nice sort of balanced approach to destroying objectives and destroying players. But when we go into the second attack, I change, and I actually run a more objective focused Defender with burst lasers, because you get more damage out of those, and also concussion missile and cluster missile, which do huge amount of damage to turrets and other parts of the ship.
So the meta right now for Empire, anyway, or at least in your what you're doing, is you're leaning Defender over Interceptor.
Yes, because it's also situational though, because if the other team is running loads of ion cannon turret on the Y-wing, the Defender is quite vulnerable because it has almost no hull health, and all of its health relies on its shields. So if you're getting blasted by ion cannon turrets, then you want to go back and switch to something that doesn't rely on its shields, like a TIE bomber or an interceptor.
Okay.
Funnily enough, the TIE bomber is actually being used by a lot of teams now as the go-to ship for objective damage and PvP, because the rotary cannon is so powerful.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that.
And plus the ability to shun, right? So you can be super maneuverable even in a bomber because of how everything is.
Oh my god, bombers are so good. TIE bomber is so good.
It really is. It needs to have some sort of mechanic as far as shunting goes, or as far as charging goes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
It's just too much.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it because we could literally talk about it for the next.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
So support, before we go into PvP, support is literally its name in competitive play or in street play. I mean, there's Narcissus used to run a very attacking support, but lately even he's come to the more support. Me personally, I run either repair beacons, repair mask beacons. And the reason for that, obviously, is beacons is probably the most important thing a support can bring. It does 30%. It allows 30% more damage to be done to everything that it can hit, which is other players, the cruisers, the raider, the corvette, and the cap ships, the main cap ships, right? And that is invaluable because that allows everyone's attack runs to be that 30% more effective, and you can't ask for any more from the support than that. Mask used to be almost required, but because of the recent nerf to them, it's not as required, but it's still very useful. That 7 seconds that you buy your team can become invaluable in saving their lives or getting an attack through in the ISD. Some of us still run mask when we're doing an ISD run, but we'd run repair most of the other times. And repair is great because of the fact that it gives everyone fresh aux reloads. It repairs the hull at 50%. And remember we spoke about the bomber being broken before? Bombers with repairs are even more broken because you think you're about to kill them and they're back to like 60% health. And you gotta do it all over again. And they don't even have to be targeted. You can just dump fire them out into space and they can just sit there for someone to come back in. So it saves time on having to fly back to essentially save yourself, right? You can save them right as they're attacking and keep them going. And something like bombs, oh my god, I just keep plowing out bombs till the opponent is just exploded to death.
It's turned into Cavern Angels versus everyone else. Wonderful. I like how this is going.
What else? Oh, and I noticed I didn't talk about turrets. Turrets are great, except they're banned in competition because there's a bug with turrets where they can be glitched into geometry in the game and become invincible. But turrets are actually really good. they're actually a great defensive play, but they're not. They shouldn't be a main. There's always the meme of 5 supports running 10 turrets, walling it, right? That is great at mid level. It's not great at high level. You'll A, piss us off, and B, will run right through it, and then make your life a living hell. And we've done that. We've done that where we're like, okay, you want to do that, and we just then we iron them all game long because you're going to be dicks.
All right,
we're gonna be
guys. So
dicks.
what I'm hearing is we turret up, we make them rage. We got them to come over. We'll make them rage.
Oh my god.
I mean, you
They
could
taught
try.
us all their tricks. They
try.
taught us all their tricks, so we can just make them rage now.
You could try, but it's really easy to get through turrets. Like, I mean, multi-lock missiles, shooting them, they're not as invincible as everyone makes them out to be unless they get glitched. I mean, they're great for slowing down the opponent, but they're not great for finishing them off, is what I want to say. And we're all about finishing off the team as quickly as possible.
So you got about 4:30 minutes left in this lobby. What do you say? What do you guys say we get into a game here? And then Jareen Vorn says y'all should mix up the teams in the chat.
Yeah, mixing them up. I wouldn't.
Mix up. Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
I was fine with myself.
We do 4v4.
We can take them. We believe.
Oh, I'm over here.
Actually, yeah, while you guys are saying, I have a question from Spellcast Live. So do you always peel over continued pressure on the AI farm or a support? Half the time I get to my teammates, if I meet response at peel request, they die before I can get
queued up
on their attacker. Yeah, queue up. Spellcast, to answer your question, there has to be some trust between you and your team. If your team's going to ask for a peel request, they have to have the understanding that they're taking you off something, and if you're going to go save them, you should do that because they need it, right? When we ask for appeal requests on high level play, it's because we know we can survive it. We just need someone to get them off. If I'm at 1 HP and my shields are gone, I'm not going to ask for appeal request. I'm dead. Like, that's stupid to get my PvPer off because I'm wasting his time and I'm going to die. But if I'm at 100% health, I'm starting to take fire and I am in a bad spot to evade, I'm like, hey, can I get a peel really quick? And then there's trust that my PvPer will come because he knows he's worth saving. He's not wasting his time. And I don't know if you want to add to that in any way, but I think that's when you have to make the decision, make the peel request on trust with your teammates. But you should peel them because objective player is doing your heavy lift, and you need to keep them alive essentially.
Yeah, that's right. That responsibility falls to both the support and the interceptors. The support can repair them, but if they're under heavy fire, they will still die. So the idea is that the interceptor will do most of his spare time doing damage, and then when one guy says, "Oh, there's someone on me," you then need to stop doing your damage and go to the target that he's pinged and pressure him off. And then your objective guys can continue doing that good work.
And then the support comes in and heals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Repair is very powerful. The meta used to be stealth because the stealth ran for a long time, but now that they've nerfed it, a lot of teams now are running repair because it allows people to stay alive a lot longer.
I run repair and marker.
Yeah, that's a good loadout. Yeah, the marker allows you to do 30% extra damage on whatever you've marked. It also allows quicker missile locks, and it really can make the difference between winning and losing matches. That.
Alrighty, I got myself a defender loadout nice and quick.
Nice.
I have
Hope it
questions
works.
about running a support class, but I'm gonna wait for that.
All right.
Play a game.
First game of the day. Let's see how we do.
Yeah, same for me, bro. I just hopped on.
Gotta get off those nimbly bimblies.
Yeah,
As Miranda likes to say. Nimbly bimblies for sure. They are brutal.
Oh, there's gonna be a lot of pilot errors on this map too. Galatan.
Oh yeah.
I hate this map.
I love the
What
rocks.
is your
So
favorite?
I guess hearing you pros talk about maps, what kind of tips do you guys have for like learning maps? Like I know in other competitive games there's like certain map areas will have different call out designations. Is that something that translate into squadrons or
Actually, yeah. There's especially Esselis. Esselis is one that I know well. That like people say there's space side and then like rock side.
Okay.
And that usually applies for like getting AI packs to them at the beginning because they split up from the middle and then they go, or like one goes middle, one goes left, one goes right. And then people call, hey, I'm going to go space side. And that's usually like left or right, depending on like the faction. And then like on this map, you could say like planet side or like space side here because you have like that big yellow planet. that's to the Empire's left side and then like New Republic's right side, right? So you can make callouts like that. But usually
Oh, what
they
am I
just keep
doing?
it
What am
simple
I
and
doing?
just
Yeah,
say left
Pilot
or
error.
right.
That's a good start. Pilot
What
error.
happens, bro? Skeleton.
Yeah, I mean, you always do what your team is more comfortable with. We use Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta, and then we use
Right,
Sabrip
that
left
too.
and Sabrip right, right? Since we know everyone's going to orient with the cap chips face up, we say Sabrip left, Sabrip right, that kind of stuff.
Oh my god, I have no idea how to trigger. Jesus Christ.
Holy shitters.
You should, Wicked, you should have a button for target allies.
I do.
Okay, just want to make sure. Maybe I
I
just
just-
can't see your targeting. Oh no, okay.
Just get man them golden laser. You know.
Oh man, I didn't even show you guys infinite power for Empire.
Oh god.
Oh,
So what Ralph is doing at the moment is he's countering my defender play by running a
ICT?
Y-wing with ICT or ion
oh,
cannon
I
turret.
knew he was gonna do that. Gosh darn it, Ralph.
So
Oh.
he's taking down my shields with that turret and then finishing me off with his lasers, which is really good.
That's funny. What was I gonna say? Let's see.
Alright.
I mean, for those watching, I just recommend Jet or Slam Engine as probably the two main engines to run. Jet Engine is great with boost gasping. Slam is great for when you're going to spend more of your time off engines, like when you're trying to charge lasers or shields kind of deal. It allows you to build boost while you're not fully charging. So I'm actually a big fan of Slam lately.
I was been there.
But Slam is a little bit more technical than Jet Engine. Jet Engine allows for a lot more error, I would say.
I like playing Slam when it's available to me.
Same.
For
Except
sure.
for X-Wing. I think X-Wing is like my only exception to that,
So
just because of how mobile you have to be.
if you're running a boost extension like I do for my ISD, boost extension with Slam, you pretty much have infinite boost.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, but you're also wasting like an aux slot then.
Yeah,
So it's really a trade-off of what you want to do.
right. But I guess, like I said earlier, I don't rely purely on my Oxes to do damage. I'm very much about using my lasers to
Yeah.
do damage. Trying to look around here, fly around.
Damn it.
Uh-oh, pilot error has claimed another victim.
Alright.
And the funny part is, I watch you guys on Stream Wonder. You guys are all solid pilots. It really is just if you got the time.
Ah, 5 health. What a joke. There you go.
You guys have no PvP. That's why. Like, why
Well,
do-
no, I'm in a defender. Like I'm just.
no. NR side is no PvP.
Oh, do they not?
Yeah.
I disagree. That Y-wing's killed me a couple times now.
What?
Damn. Why am I not in the right thing?
Yeah, we definitely should have. I mean, you guys should definitely look at. Ooh, nice ion. You
Oh,
guys
I'm
should.
gonna crash.
Let's stop hitting shit though.
Happens to the best of us.
Definitely, you guys should. Yeah, if you got. Oh.
Yep, that was unfortunate. I was gonna try and pick that up. Just slid right into a fucking rock.
I mean, I hope the others on stream see this, but yeah, I had to comment that there's a lack of PvP on the NR side, and that key composition's everything, right? Having someone to help fill a role is important because you need to have all your roles filled.
So that shield's going down nice.
Huh? Okay. Got Ralph. No more ICT.
Yay. Well, that's unfortunate. I just watched that.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, it was you, Knight. I was like, who just did that crazy dead drift? It was Knight.
Raiders should flip, maybe? Yes, sir.
So generally, this phase right here is where it's acceptable to change ships because you have a full morale bar. You've got plenty of time until the other team starts their AI farm.
Yeah, especially one of the frigates or corvettes or raiders is down, cruisers is down. We'll say, okay, get ready for ISD attack. We'll swap ships just to get ready for the ISD.
Yeah, you want to leave C now and start doing damage to D because you want to bring D down to the point where you can finish it really quickly. And if you need the morale, then you can take out C quickly because it's already low.
Which is, yeah, that's a great point. That's something I see in open play, that people just like burn it as fast as possible, not thinking that, oh, we don't need that. Like, you don't need that right away. Good pick from Ralph. Good pick.
Oops.
Let's see. Assault shield. Interesting.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of assault shield on objective bomber.
Here. I don't know how I feel about the defender.
It's hard. It can be hard to use.
Oh, it's a very technical ship. It's a very, very technical ship.
No, I definitely miss having the extra power in my engines that I get with the interceptor.
Oh, I'm too far out.
I mean, so I mean, the biggest critique is that you're not fully utilizing the defender in its best way because you're not doing boost drifting a lot, right? And that's where the TIE Defender really shines. Boost drift is the best of the TIE Defender. If you're not doing that, then it's not fully utilizing it.
He's 9 HP. Knight, get him.
Get it.
Get him.
That was Willie. That was a good run. You just have to get a little bit closer to the hull on the second pass. The first pass you're too close to the hull.
Just say I was there.
Okay.
Trust me. I practiced that like for a week straight. I practiced that 30 minutes a day because I used to just do what you did, where I'd overshoot or undershoot the shield gens.
Also, kind of just trying to practice like the drifting around a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play as much as the other guys here, so that's something new. I learned about, so I want to try it.
Mm-hmm. It's really fun technique once you get the hang of it. It's
Hack.
Get out of here. Why am I?
And another crash from Knight. Absolutely love it.
Happens.
Don't you go marking me. Who do you think you are, Alicia?
I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
I
don't
think-
mark me.
Well, you got
Don't mark me.
Corvette shields are down nice.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I found a big juicy pack. Just making sure that it'll be enough to flip.
Damn B-wing.
Oh, resupply that B-wing. Resupply that B-wing.
I'm coming. Wait, where'd he go? What the heck? Oh, there it is. Oh, they're about to get it.
Resupply it.
That's fine, actually. I'll take that.
like it's me again.
So the problem was there, I worked down your rear shields, but you didn't rebalance. So always keep an eye on where your shields.
That did not work the way I wanted it to.
Oh, it's survival along with that rebalance die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can rebalance your front shields to your rear, so keep an eye on it.
And so, Wicked, you can dumbfire those repairs by just double tapping your aux, and it'll just sit there in space. And if anyone comes within 200 meters of it, who's an ally, it'll just automatically repair them.
Oh, so I just double tap it?
Yeah, double tap aux. Double tap aux. whatever that button is. There you go.
Oh!
And it just fires into space. Now, whoever comes near that will just pick it up immediately.
Ah.
So, like, if you have no one to heal, just dump fire them into space. Someone will come pick it up eventually.
Oh shit!
Okay, and
No,
what else should
pilot
I
errors.
be
Damn it.
Like, I feel like
So, support, you kind of have to you have to manage the game state a little bit. You have to tell your team what's going on. So
Shit.
I kind of cycle through, like, my opponents and my allies, say, hey, you know, they're on here. I try and figure out who I need to repair next or mask next. Support, fun enough, is probably the most responsibility on the team, because since you're supporting everyone, you really have to manage the game state in some capacity and say, okay, our biggest threats are here. You guys need to go after them
Fuck,
while
I'm
I'm
gonna
healing
track
you.
beam.
okay, so like making sure that I'm communicating what's going on the field.
Yep. Right? Knowing
So
okay,
what's the best way to avoid tractor beams?
Throttle
when
to
you're
0 and
attacking
boost out, or just don't go like at the bottom of the ship at all,
or shoot them, kill them.
or shoot them. Yeah, that works
Yeah.
too.
But zero throttle boosting is probably the best answer. Honestly, the best answer.
Good disable. Oh wait, was it destroyed or disabled?
I just destroyed the targeting.
Oh, okay. Well, nice. I just rammed an AI and killed it.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's zero throttle. Your best is right. You have to do zero throttle because the tractor beam has you pretty much at zero of velocity. You have to go to zero throttle to escape it. Anything else will not work.
Interesting. Good to know.
But there was a point made on the stream, and they're right.
Thank you for the follow, Panther Pause 1021. Much appreciated. Keep the BW alive. All the resupplies.
Oops,
Good
sorry.
kill, Gen Burst.
Good question on. I missed the question, but I think it had to do with how we track. For some of us, I'm an old flight sim guy. I can keep a battle map in my mind. I basically use anchor points, like the cruisers, the ISD, and I build a battle map in my mind where everything is. I can kind of predict where things are going to go. I do use the radar every now and then just to keep myself fresh. But I rely on the HUD heavily. The HUD is so good in this game. It's one of the best HUDs I've seen next to Elite Dangerous. A really good HUD for information. It's overwhelming, I know, at first, but once you get an idea of it, it really is very helpful.
Too fast here.
Well, that went in.
Uh-oh.
I honestly think game tracking is probably one of the hardest things you can learn in this game. Trying to keep the game state in your mind and trying to manage it. It really is not for everyone. I know that for a fact, being a full flight sim guy. That's why we usually have one or two people on our team manage the game state and tell everyone what's happening so that everyone's up to date on what's going on and where we need to put pressure.
There we go.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I
a
got the
whole
hull section
mechanic I'm
next.
gonna have to learn.
Oh, come on. Throttle all the way down is supposed to let you turn faster. Apparently not
No,
fast enough.
50%.
That's
50%.
halfway.
50% is max turn.
Oh, 50%. That makes no sense.
It's based off X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter used to be a third. So
I wish it was based off of physics.
yeah, well, I mean, this game really isn't physics, right? But it's 50% to do max turn. It's actually a range. It's not dead 50. It's 40 to 60%. It's max turn. It's a range.
I mean, I've got mine set to step throttle anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people don't realize that. That's why I'm saying out loud for people on stream. It's a range 40 to 60%. 50 is just optimal, and like off 50, it's a minor variance off. The step down is past 40 and 60.
Oh wait, no, you left.
Yes, unfortunately, I don't have time for another game. I can stay to chat for a bit, but I don't.
Yeah, same here. I have to drop at 1, unfortunately, as well. I have other things.
Well, we do appreciate both of you, Rebelpilot and I, for joining us and giving us some tips here for the last 2 hours and teaching us a little bit of the, intricacies, jeepers creepers of the game. Some of those things that not a lot of people know, and even just those kind of angles that come in on are just very useful. Getting underneath the shields like that, and you can do a lot of damage that way. And definitely not something that I think everyone automatically thinks that you can get underneath the shield. You think that the shields are almost something that you have to get rid of first, but no, you can actually get underneath the shields to do that damage. And very, very cool. So I appreciate both of you for being here.
Yeah.
All we'll do is we'll take a quick break, and then if anyone else would like to join us for some other custom games, let us know down in the chat. We'll keep that going. Yes, again, thank you to both of you for joining us.
No problem.
And to anyone on my stream, like if you want to do one-on-ones with me, I'd be glad to do what I just did with anyone. Go over stuff. As long as I have the time, I'm glad to do it. So I would be glad to help anyone out on stream. Just hit me up and we'll make time. And I think I owe this to someone on stream, so I'm gonna wear the raccoon mask on my way out.
Rebel, did you say that you play support?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Oh.
I do play support, yes.
Love the mask. Can we set up a time where I could just get some one-on-one time with you so that I can just understand what I'm running and whatnot?
Yeah.
People I've talked to don't actually run support.
Actually, here, I have 10 minutes. Let me go over my builds for support, and then I could talk some quick strategy, and then I could spend some time with you to go over and watch you play, essentially, so you can understand it better. Get my nose. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ignore this one. This is my main build. So my two major builds are Squad Mass targeting beacons and Supply Droid targeting beacons. I run Reinforced Hull and Fortified Deflector. Hold on a second. I'm not crazy on this because I always forget this.
I'm also running all of those passive components.
Yeah. And Reinforced Hull is great for dead drifting and to keep you alive, right? Some people are running Scrambler shields now. They're probably right. I just haven't made the transition over to Scrambler shields yet fully. Because it does take a bit of maintenance with boost gasping to keep it alive. Sorry, kind of hard to hear. To keep it alive, right? So you have to get good at boost gasping to do Scrambler shields. And I'm good at it, but there's, like I said, you have to consistently do it to kill the regeneration delay. Otherwise, you'll get murdered by this. And you also have to keep it at 100% shield or greater. And if you don't, then it loses its lock time effect. Whereas with Fortified Deflector, it gives me 20% more shield, and it's a lot less maintenance, essentially. So I've been running Deflector now, but I really should be making my way to Scrambler Shield. But Scrambler Shield's a very high level play.
Did you notice that guy? I think you were the support in that game, right? Not Rebel, but sorry, what's your name? I think she's muted.
Wicked Ways.
Wicked Ways, yeah.
Wicked Ways, yeah. So I don't know if you noticed how I was ion disabling you and then killing you. The Scrambler shields really help with that if you can keep them overcharged. But again, it's, as Rebel says, it's a pretty high level play because it requires just that little bit more out of your power management.
So like as the PvP player, like I've heard people say use Nimble Deflector, but I'm guessing that once again, without being able to fully gasp, not being on advanced, it's not worth it to use, and I should just be sticking with standard.
Is it on which craft are you talking about there?
That would be the A-Wing.
The A-Wing. The A-Wing is pretty paper thin as it is. Running Nimble Deflector is going to make you very easy to kill.
You see, but that's the thing. I've read up a little bit, and it said that was actually the smartest way to play. I'm happy that that's wrong because it did feel weird.
I think that's very much dependent on your playstyle. Because I know I bet you it's a fight now in my stream. Some people do swear by Nimble Deflector, by the way. I really think that's dependent on playstyle.
Fair enough.
How much you boost gasp, right? If you don't boost gasp a lot, Nimble Deflector will probably give you a better advantage in defensive style because you can just put it into shields and run away. Whereas if you boost gasp a lot, Scrambler will give you more life simply because of the fact it slows down lock on you. Right? I think that's really much more to play style as opposed to one versus the other.
I personally wouldn't run Scrambler unless you're running advanced power management because
I'm not.
That negative of 200% delay on shield regeneration is huge unless you bypass it with that advanced power management technique I told you about earlier.
Yeah, so I should just be using standard or nimble then.
And
Yeah, I would personally use standard. That's my preference, but yeah.
don't
Okay.
run overload. And to anyone shooting, don't run overload on anything. It's a trap. It's a giant trap. Overload shields is
Yeah,
a giant
don't-
trap.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that with shunting, the Empire ships wind up being stronger in lasers by default. So for the A-Wing, is it worth it to take like quick locks over, say, the jammer repair, or
So a lot of your loadout choices will depend on what your support is running. Quick locks are very, very powerful if your support is running beacons or targeting beacons. They're called.
Yep. Which she is?
So it makes your lock on very quick, and it also means that they are very unlikely to be able to shake off that missile. And you could just fire almost one after the other. They lock on so quickly and do huge damage. You'll find that very effective. But without targeting beacons, quick locks are quite weak, and you'll often
Okay.
find they won't even fully take down shields of X-wings and stuff like that. So if
I
you're
find I tend to use them as finishers, to be honest. Like, I'll shoot to take down shields, get a lock, and then missile out.
yeah.
So what would you be recommending then?
In my Defender and my X-wing, I run a combination of quick lock and ion missile. Because what happens with that, if you do ever end up flying those ships, is you have 8 quick locks, right? And they're very quick to lock on and use. So what you can do is you can fire one at a player and bait them to chaff or bait them to counter that missile, and then you then have a certain window of opportunity to then disable them with your ion missile, which they can't chaff or they can't counter because they
X-Wings don't have quick locks. They have concussions.
yeah, you can use concussions for the same thing. Any missile that causes them to get that thing up on their screen and say, shit, I need to counter it. You can bait them into doing that, and then they are completely open then for an ion missile to disable them, and then it's a very easy kill. But on the class of ship you fly, you can either run rockets. Rockets I recommend for bombers if you don't have mark, because bombers are very generally straight flying, and you can get the rockets straight on target, and you can take them by surprise quite easily. But if your support is running targeting beacons, 100% run quick locks.
So like as a PvPer, do you recommend running X-Wing over A-Wing?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
That's
so much,
interesting.
because
it's so
most
much
of the
more
people-
flexible. It's so much more flexible.
It's
Most
so much more
people I
flexible.
hear wind up saying A-Wings.
But that's
That's-
because they don't understand the game. If I'm brutally honest. So
No, Please,
yeah.
like I'm here to learn. I'm asking these questions to learn.
So the purpose of flying X-wing and Defender is versatility, and making the most use out of your time. So yes, the Interceptor and the A-wing have very powerful lasers. But, oh, hello. The disadvantage is once you've done killing your target, what you're going to do next? You can't do really a huge amount of objective damage with the Orcses that you can carry on Interceptors and A-wings. So the best use of your time is to run ion missile and some sort of damage dealing loadout on the other side. So you can run concussion, you can run proton torpedo or piercing torpedo, and then you can make the most of your time. And whilst you're not killing players, you can then help your team destroy the cruiser or the ISD or whatever.
Yeah, because like I find in the A-Wing or the Interceptor, that's where I'm losing out. Is like I'm turning to try and help deal objective damage, and I'm dealing nothing.
Well,
Yeah.
Just one thing on the Interceptor. The Interceptor has the advantage of power shunting, and like I said
That's
before,
true.
lasers is everything in this game. So the Interceptor can make up some of that, and there's some really good A-Wing and Interceptor players, and they'll say the same thing that Knight just said. The X-Wing versus the A-Wing is just so much more flexible in the meta right now that the X-Wing is just more advantageous. But on the Empire side, I would say that Interceptor still has a place with a good TIE Defender pair. There are plenty of teams out there which run TIE Defender and Interceptor, because the Interceptor can put out more damage quickly than the TIE Defender can right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the TIE Defender is just so critical in PvP because of all the weapons it brings versus the Interceptor. Right.
Also, if you're trying to kill people near an objective, for example, the cruiser or the capital ship, you'll probably notice in your A-wing you'll lose shields really damn quick because the objective is hitting you, right? That won't really happen on an X-wing and a Defender because their shields are so much more powerful. So that passive damage that you take from those objectives almost means nothing.
Hey, I mean,
Um,
I'm happy. I get my slam engine back. I can generate passive boost. I'm not gonna have to make sure 100% I'm in engines every single time. I'm not upset in the slightest.
Yeah. So my recommendation is see if you can get in either X-wing or Defender, or even TIE Bomber, and try and PvP in those, and you'll get
Sure.
used to it.
I'm more than happy to test out the X-wing. I've been looking for a reason to get back to it.
I will recommend in the X-wing, standard lasers are quite weak.
Yeah, I
So
swapped to burst. I know.
yeah,
I'll learn.
yeah. So burst is difficult. Yeah.
Ray shields.
I'll get
Ray shields for PvP.
ray shields.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because-
I've got the
that-
dampener hull.
Yeah, dampener hull's good because it stops people from locking onto you so quickly with ion missiles.
Yep, I run ray shields because the
Perfect.
DR from
I've
ray
got
shields is so good.
shields. Yeah, I've got the ray shield on. Perfect. I'll make sure that that's on all of them. Yeah, I'm just happy to have my slam engine back. Can't be mad at that.
Definitely, and but the thing with Slam Engine, and I know people are watching my stream, but the thing with Slam Engine is the best way to take advantage of it is with boost gasping. I mean, it's straight up. If you just put all your power into engines, then you're better off with Jet, because Slam gets no advantage if you're just always keeping your power in engines without gasping. But if you're gasping, it helps to keep building power while you're gasping. I know I said that earlier in the stream, but I just want to reiterate that's my ideology behind Slam, especially for the NR. For NR, that's where your advantage is boost gasping.
Guys, I've really got to run, but thank you for your time.
Thanks, Knight.
and,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your help.
No problem at all. No problem at all. I'll see you out there.
Very much appreciated.
Any last questions from me?
Rebel, I will shoot you a message through Discord later to ask you the other questions that I had. We kind of got a little lost there.
Okay, cool. Because yeah, I want to get going. I have to take care of some stuff as well today.
Hope your day's
Yes,
going well,
thank you
Synthetic
so
Mushroom.
much for all your help.
We just had some tips given to us by the Rebelpilot, who's just leaving us now here.
Much
so
love.
again,
Much love to you
appreciate-
guys, and hit me up if anything comes
Thanks,
up.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Talk
for
to
sure.
you all later. Thank you everyone on my stream. Appreciate it.
yeah,
Bye,
make sure
Rebel.
Bye
to go
guys.
over and check out the Rebelpilot and
Again, thank you everyone on my stream. I'm gonna end it now. I'll actually raid the nerdy nerd. Blah, 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 blah. The copy. Here, let's- Thanks again, everyone. Have a good day.